Coming up on BG24 News.
Multiple high-profile crimes in Bowling Green have some scared, but the threat is lower than they might think.
It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Reporter Danielle Griffith gives some self-defense tips.
The speed limit was changed to 70 miles per hour earlier this year. Find out if more or less drivers are getting speeding tickets.
Plus, we have your Black Swan weather forecast. This is your campus and community connection.
Wood County's live local news starts right now. This is BG24 News, live at 5:30.
Hello, everyone. I'm Madeline Fenning.
And I'm Dominique Hicks. Thanks for joining us tonight.
We start tonight with developing news.
A Bowling Green woman has pleaded guilty to a charge of child endangerment that resulted in the death of her infant son. Police say Rebecca Steinmiller's 5-month-old son died of head trauma last year. The child's father, Brian Steinmiller, has been charged with murder. He pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter back in September. Rebecca will be sentenced in January. Now we'll keep you updated on air and online as this story develops.
Police have been investigating the robbery of 4 Bowling Green High School students. A group of 7 to 10 people assaulted the students on South Prospect Street last month. Bowling Green police say the high school students were walking in the area. That's when they saw individuals breaking into vehicles. When the students confronted them, they were attacked. This is just one of several highly publicized crimes this fall. Still, Major Tony Hetrick says crime is actually down.
Actually, our calls for service and criminal activity arrests are down this year. These are just unfortunate incidents. They're very serious. They get a lot of headline. Oftentimes people come down here from the Toledo area thinking that, we're a smaller town, that they could just waltz in, commit these crimes and then get away. But reality is we're pretty good at catching these people.
The university's crime numbers show a similar decline. A recent BGSU report says overall crime has slightly dropped.
Now, even though crime might be down, you still should know how to protect yourself in an unexpected situation. Reporter Danielle Griffith has techniques that can keep you safe.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which celebrates the strength of battered women and children. The United Karate system is educating individuals on self-defense through the ancient martial art of karate.
Self-defense is important because everybody should have the ability to defend themselves along with the right to defend themselves. I mean, the law gives us the right to defend themselves, but not everybody knows how.
Students learn many techniques such as striking, controlling, and throwing. Mock scenarios are presented to help participants react as if they were in real-life situations.
When fighting off an attacker, you have 3 ranges of techniques: Muay Thai kick, palm heel, vertical elbow.
Now, without the proper training, you could find yourself in a tight situation. Hasenfratz says half-hearted techniques is often worse than no technique at all.
If it's not a practice response, it's probably not going to happen. You're going to freeze, you're going to hesitate. Whatever initiative you gained over you're an attacker, whether it's the opportunity to run or to deliver a counterattack, you freeze, you lose.
When fighting off attacker, you have free range of kick, knees, and punches. Effective target points are your torso, eyes, and nose. Hasenfratz says following through with your first defense is important. That's because you may not get a second one. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Danielle Griffith.
The United Karate System offers a free 5-week session for those interested in martial arts. For more information, please visit our Facebook page.
Switching gears now, troopers are writing less speeding tickets, and they say it's because of a new speed limit on I-75. The speed limit jumped from 65 to 70 in July. Since then, they have written nearly 19,000 speeding tickets. So far, this number is lower. Officials say they still need more data to make any big conclusions.
Ohio drivers finally see some relief at the gas pumps. Gas prices have taken a big dip after 2 straight weeks of increases. The state average is 17 cents lower than a week ago, and it's much lower than it was a year ago. The national average is also down, and analysts say this is due to large gas supplies and flat demand.
On campus now, there are still several thousand Holocaust survivors living, and one of them shared her experience last night. Reporter Ty Nathan tells us her story.
Hundreds of BGSU students filled the Math and Science building to hear Holocaust survivor Marian Blumenthal-Lizan retell the tragic story she and her family encountered during the Holocaust. Lizan says she wanted a better life.
I always knew that I wanted to get out of there. I knew that there was a better life ahead, and I was determined to survive.
She also says how she overcame those events.
With perseverance and determination.
Okay.
And that's what kept us going, because physically we were really done. I weighed 35 pounds at the age of 10 and a half. My mom weighed only 60 pounds when we were liberated.
Stories of the past haunt Marian occasionally.
I have bad dreams many, many times, but I have a wonderful, supportive husband by my side, and that helps a lot. For sure.
Students were intrigued by her heartfelt stories and informed.
I knew a lot of the stuff that she talked about. I had never heard of her concentration camp before, so that was definitely something new that I had never heard about.
Caitlin O'Mara says the topic intrigues her.
I've always just thought it was something really interesting, and it was something like, you know, it was such a big part of history.
In Marian's book, 4 Perfect Pebbles, she further explains her story. You can find it on Amazon.com. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Ty Nathan.
Wow, such an amazing story. The History Department sponsored Marian's visit to campus.
Well, you know, it seemed like a great, nice fall day out there, Paul.
It did, but what are we looking at now?
Well, I absolutely agree about the nice fall weather today. Well, currently it's about 55 degrees outside with clear sunny skies. Wind is light, but it will drop to about 40 degrees later tonight. I'll have more of your full forecast, including Halloween, in a bit.
Thanks, Paul. Coming up.
T-shirts were lined up across the Union Oval last week. BG24's Gemma Schultz tells us why they were out there.
Plus, a printmaker visits campus to teach students about his craft. Stay with us.
A women's studies class used clothing to tackle domestic violence. Reporter Gemma Schultz says each piece of clothing represented a different story.
The Safe Center in Bowling Green hosted its annual clothesline project on Friday in the Union Oval. Students and volunteers hung 200 T-shirts on clotheslines to symbolize domestic violence and sexual assault in Wood County. Though the goal is for students to stop by the display, one organizer says the clothing could be hard to look at.
Prepare to feel a little bit of shock when you walk by. I mean, the purpose isn't to sugarcoat anything. These are real stories, these are real women. Each of these is an individual story. And so even though it's a little bit uncomfortable and it's oftentimes a taboo topic, I think it's something that we need to start having a conversation about.
Another volunteer says she did this so students could realize the victims aren't alone and it's okay to talk about violence.
I want them to understand, maybe if they know someone or if themselves have been a part of something like this, it's okay to let others know. It's okay to confide in others because everyone here has been through something.
Each shirt color symbolized a different incident ranging from sexual assault, violence, or women who have died from violence. The T-shirts let victims and their families heal while educating the community. Organizers of the Clothesline Project said they hung these T-shirts to let students at BG know that violence can happen anywhere, even in a small town like Bowling Green. For BG24 News, I'm Gemma Schultz.
If you or someone you know is suffering from domestic violence, you can call Wood County's local hotline. The number is on our Facebook page.
Now, how cool is this? A world-renowned artist is sharing his craft in Bowling Green this week. Professor Koichi Yamamoto is holding workshops with students and instructors. They are making prints, ceramics, and woodwork. The artist loves his area of art because it requires teamwork. He works with college students because they are driven and excited. Yamamoto says the workshops are about the journey, not the destination.
We'll have a lot of dialogues and also discovery to our similarity and the differences, and sort of celebrate process of the art making, and I think the focus is the process.
Yamamoto travels the world networking with different people in different studios. This allows him to constantly rediscover and reevaluate his craft.
Coming up, stay safe this Halloween while trick-or-treating. BG24's Alex Pfeiffer gives us tips from the BG Police.
Plus, it might be a wet Halloween. We'll have your full Black Swamp weather forecast coming up.
Now, Wood County's live local forecast with BG24 Black Swamp weather.
Hello, I'm Paul Mims, and here's your Black Swamp weather forecast. Currently, we're looking at 55 degrees with clear sunny skies, beautiful fall weather today. Winds are light at only 7 miles per hour. Tonight, we go down to about 40 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, winds light as well at only 6 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we're going to have a high of 64 with mostly sunny skies. Beautiful day, so expect that coming your way with winds to 5 to 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow night, only a 10-degree difference with 54 degrees, but do expect some showers with a 70% chance of that, and expect some high winds from 10 to 20 miles per hour. As you can see, like I said before, we're at 55 at the Bowling Green and Perrysburg area. Over here in the Port Clinton and the Sandusky area, we have a 54 and 54 down in Findlay. Here in our regional radar, you can see there's nothing happening currently now, but as you look onto the national radar, you see there is something coming our way, which you're going to expect Wednesday night with some showers, and that will probably carry over to the next day. Now, everyone's frightened about, is it going to rain Thursday for Halloween like it did last year with Hurricane Sandy? And that brings us here to our 5-day outlook for the rest of the week. Wednesday, we have a high of 64, low of 54 with sunny skies. Thursday, like I said, it's going to be a wet one. It's going to be rain showers, but look on the bright side, high of 62, low of 48. Friday, mostly cloudy skies with high 58, low of 40. Saturday, rain showers once again with a high of 50, low of 31. And Sunday, some sun with high 50 and low 33.
Thanks so much, Paul. And speaking of Halloween, reporter Alex Pfeiffer tells us some safety tips for your children.
Halloween is the time each year when children can dress up and go trick-or-treating in their community. But here in Bowling Green, children's safety is always put over the candy. Last week, Main Street was full of children and their parents visiting the local companies that gave out candy. Volunteers in the Bowling Green Police were constantly watching the kids, even helping when they crossed the street. Bowling Green Police Officer Robin Short says the community is generally safe during this time.
In recent years, we haven't had any problems. As a matter of fact, as far as I can recall, we've not had any problems with children being in danger or any issues with the candy.
Still, police are staying aware. This Thursday, the community will have its annual trick-or-treat. And to help people stay safe, Short says as children walk through the dark neighborhood, everyone should stay off the road.
Always tell the young kids to walk on the sidewalks, cross at stop signs, and only go to those houses that you approve. Try to stay away from treats that are homemade. Take all your candy home first and visually inspect it. And if you have any concerns, just toss it out.
Officer Short says putting these simple tips into effect will create a safe environment for all those out and about on All Hallows Eve. Reporting for BG24 News, I'm Alex Pfeiffer.
Trick-or-treating in BG takes place from 6:30 to 8 on Thursday night.
The Department of Recreation is trying to promote Halloween safety for students. Reporter Brooke Ebersol says this year's Monster Mash served as an alternative to drinking.
The Perry Fieldhouse was a popular place on Thursday, October 24th, filled with BGSU students in Halloween costumes. They participated in Monster Mash, put on by the Department of Recreation and Wellness. The event consisted of many activities for students including cornhole, zombie Zumba, and Halloween-themed face painting. Dozens of people attended the event. Freshman Catherine Naxted was excited about the various activities.
We've done almost everything. We got some pizza, we got some cornhole going on, photo booth, maybe a little bit of dancing next.
Monster Mash's purpose was not only to provide Halloween fun for students, but to also create an alternative to drinking. The Campus Wellness Connection had a table set up to inform students about the harmful effects of alcohol consumption. Event participators could play Alcohol Jeopardy, where they were quizzed on facts about drinking. Wellness Connection intern Megan Duran Whitmore feels strongly about educating students about alcohol and its effects. She says there are other ways to enjoy themselves.
I think that a lot of students view alcohol as the only fun thing to do, and I think it's important for us to educate people on alternatives and what there is that they can do that is safe but also fun.
The Department of Recreation and Wellness plans to extend the event even more next year and hold it in the renovated Recreation Center. For BG24 News, I'm Brooke Ebersole.
Nearly 50 students attended the event, and the Department of Recreation says attendance was still up, even with the event being moved to the field house. Well, there was lots of BGSU versus Toledo action this weekend.
Well, Jackie, what do you have for us?
Well, the Battle of I-75 took place this weekend. The football and volleyball team both took on the Rockets on Saturday. And following the break, I'll have the highlights of the games.
It's un-Falcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
Welcome back to BG24 Sports. I'm Jackie Elliott. Well, the Battle of I-75 was the game that everyone was waiting on all year. The annual BGSU and UT game took place at the Doit on Saturday, and reporter Terry Lash was on the sidelines taking in all the action.
The Falcon football team was in action Saturday afternoon in the Battle of I-75. The team was trying to end a 3-year losing streak to the Toledo Rockets. The Falcons got off to a shaky start as the Rockets took advantage of some untimely drops and penalties to get off to a 21-0 lead over the Falcons in the second quarter. It wasn't until the final drive of the first half that Bowling Green was able to get on the scoreboard. Matt Johnson led a 12-play, 81-yard drive that culminated with Johnson scoring on a 1-yard touchdown run. The Falcons continued to roll along in the second half as the Falcon defense started to shut down the Rocket offense. After a Tyler Tate field goal, the Falcons headed into the fourth quarter down by a score of 21-10. The Falcons struck first in the fourth as Travis Green had 2 7-yard touchdown runs to start the quarter that put BG up by a score of 25-21. But it would be Toledo who had the last laugh as Terrence Owens hit Alonzo Russell on an 11-yard pass on 4th down to put the Rockets up on top. The Falcons were unable to score on the following drive and came on the losing side of the instant classic by a score of 28-25. Head coach Dave Clausen spoke at the post-game press conference.
We did some things that I think are uncharacteristic of our team. Certainly the roughing the kicker and the personal foul was very disappointing. And then our opportunity to go for it, 4th and 1 on the half-yard line there when we had the procedure. And you go back, and those are really critical plays in the game.
The Falcons will be back in action on Tuesday, November 5th, when the team travels to Oxford to take on the Miami Redhawks.
The Battle of I-75 did not stop at the Doit. The volleyball team traveled to Toledo on Saturday to take on the Rockets. The Falcons were hoping to continue their winning streak in the MAC. Reporter Katie Wernke has more on the game.
The crowd was mixed with blue and orange as the Falcons traveled to take on Toledo Saturday evening. Coming off of a big win Friday night against Ball State University, Bowling Green played hard but just couldn't hold off the Rockets. UT took the first 2 while BG would come back with a 3rd set win, but ultimately the match ended in a 4-set loss. Senior Lindsey Butterfield had a successful day offensively with 16 kills, while senior Libby Dockenhouse tied her season record in digs with 17. Despite winning in a MAC matchup Friday, the Falcons do have some room for improvement.
Well, again, we can be very good when we play as a team, when we play together. We just haven't been consistent throughout this year. So, we play one match well, then we don't play it. And, great teams don't do that. They're consistent in their performance, and we haven't found a way to do that. So that's something that we'll address next week in practice.
The team now sits even at 500 with an 11-11 overall record and stands at 7-3 in the MAC. BGSU will see some more MAC play this week against Miami at home on Thursday and away at Western Michigan on Saturday.
There are also a few games happening this week. Starting tonight, the ice hockey team travels to OSU to take on the Buckeyes. Moving on to Thursday, the women's soccer team will travel to Central Michigan for their last game of the season, and the Falcons are hoping to get their first win. And lastly, the volleyball team will host Miami at 7 p.m. at the Stro. Well, that's all I have for you today. I'm Jackie Elliott, and we'll be right back.
You know, carving pumpkins is a favorite fall tradition here on land.
Exactly, and you think that'd be the only place where it would take place, but some divers took carving pumpkins underwater. 5 volunteer divers plunged into a tank at the South Carolina Aquarium, and they carved sea-themed designs into some pumpkins. The audience would clap for their favorite creation, and this year's winner was the octopus.
Paul, some people are kind of scared about the wet weather for Halloween.
Exactly. So what can we expect for the rest of the week, and especially that big day?
Well, it is going to rain for Halloween, which is a downer. But I think that for the weekend it's looking pretty good with some sun, so not too bad.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. That's all for BG24 News.
Check out these stories and more online at bg24news.org.
And on social media at facebook.com/BG24News and twitter.com/BG24News.
Have a great night, everyone.